Well, greetings, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Inworld Review. This is a program where we look at the people, places, and arts all over the Hypergrid. And for those of you who don't know what the Hypergrid is, well, it's a system that actually combines and joins together a whole, hundreds, maybe thousands of virtual worlds on the internet, so you can jump from one world to another and carry certain things in your inventory around, stuff like that. Those of you who remember a program called Second Life would be very familiar with this. The only difference really being that on Open Simulator and the Hypergrid, you can literally jump from grid to grid rather than just places within the grid, which is what happens in Second Life. So my name is Mal Burns. I'm sort of your host for this little tour, so to speak. And I'm joined by my co-host, who is on my, let me see, left-hand side. It's Tosha Tyran. Hello, Tosha.
Hi, Mel. Nice to be here.
Yeah, as always. You too. And on my other side is, I'm still got the right-hand man, because he's on the right-hand side, so to speak. But it's James Atlloud. He who fiddles with knobs, audio and visual knobs, I hasten to add, and generally coordinates the technical side of things as well as talking. So welcome, James.
All right. Someday I may have to sit in a different location. So will I be the right-hand man again? No? No? Okay.
I won't,
Tasha.
Everybody will be so confused.
Yeah, well then Tasha can be my right-hand gal.
Right.
and you can be the left-handed incompetent.
Okay.
You see, the confusion already starts.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's what we call it. It's like rhythm. I can describe you without looking. If you changed, it might be a pickle. Never mind. Eager viewers will also notice on the camera we have two other people in the studio with us, two guests today. They are. Oh God, I've forgotten the second names already. I've got Linestra. What's your second name again?
Linestra Parker.
Parker, that's it. Linestra Parker, who is from the alternate metaverse grid, but more importantly, she's from a region we went to on safari back on Wednesday called Airmid. I've got that right. Yes, I have.
Yes.
Right.
And we had a blast.
Had a great time.
And we'll be looking at some pictures of that shortly and then some film while we're talking. And she's accompanied by Mal. Oh, you've only one name.
Smith.
Maldrell. Okay, one name.
Maldrell Smith, yeah.
Maldrell Smith, okay. I'm just going to call you Madeline or something to get out of the way. Right, okay. Maldrell, you didn't actually make it to the safari thing. So when we're looking through the film and stuff, we got an additional voice on the scene today that we didn't have on Wednesday. Yeah. So that's good. Before we move to looking at Airmid, I'm just going to do a safari roundup and a couple of news pieces. Well, actually, there's only really one news piece. I'm putting up the poster for it now. This was released a couple of days ago from Wolf Territories Grid. And basically they were holding, I think it's next week, about a week from now or something, they were going to be holding a Wolf Territories community, education community conference. And they've actually cancelled it because there's apparently many of the participants were in the LA district. And of course, there's extreme weather there. There's extreme weather here in Europe too. So extreme weather anywhere, isn't it? The new world order. Bad weather, right? But our thoughts are, of course, with the communities around LA. Really the worst of it heat-wise, and at the moment, I'm probably better off with sub-zero here than with that kind of heat. Anyway, that won't be happening. But the post on Facebook did actually mention that it's simply been postponed, and it will probably won't happen until after the Open Sim World's Fair, which is another event that's coming up, I think, based on Wolf Territories Grid. Also, while I've got the before I actually move to this safari review, safari happens, of course, every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific time. We meet on the grid safari.org, the clubhouse, and Destination 1 this week is going to be to a grid called Darina's World to visit a fairy tale landscape by Atlas Incel with all its tunnels and towers. And that is a good cue for me to get up the diary entry here. That would be on Wednesday, but in fact on Thursday, January 16th, all day it says here, which makes sense. It's actually the birthday. I don't know which birthday, but third, fourth, fifth, but Darina's World birthday. So whether there's any preview of birthday celebrations as part of Safari, or whether it's just a separate destination, I don't know. But Darina's World birthday is on Thursday, and that seems to be all the diary stuff. And the second destination on Safari this week is Safine Maho, that is the person's name, from the Friends grid, and we're being invited to explore her underwater playground, Aquamica. Yes, Aquamica. Nice. Ideal for scuba divers and then it goes ... So I can't tell you much more about that. But anyway, that's the two locations for this Wednesday. So anyway, that's the two locations for this Wednesday.
Okay.
Hey, that was me.
It was
me, an echo of me. Yes. That's audio effects for you. Wonderful. Right. Okay. Well, I got that one out of the way. Okay. So last week we went on Safari 2. Now the first stop, I didn't get any film of this. In fact, I couldn't get things to res. So I don't know where there's an odd sensation, and when you type go, sometimes you arrive, and especially if you're a mesh avatar, your mesh bits all arrive in a bundle. Like when they take old motor cars and put them in a press and squash them into bits. Well, your mesh arrives in a state like that, and all different sizes too. Your jacket can be as big as a building, and your feet can be the size of eyeballs, crammed together. But it's one of those mysterious things which sometimes are really log sorts or whatever. But it adds a bit of amusement to the general state of lag in some places. Anyway, the build here, I'll show you the pictures basically. This is a CCI grid, and it's basically the whole town there. From what I did get to see of it, it's a build of the what the motorcycle called. It's got to go back again. It's
Harley Davidson.
Sons of Anarchy, the TV
Sons of
show.
Anarchy, right?
Yeah, I've seen bits of that now and again, but I'm afraid it's one of these long-running American things, which for people who like me, like a beginning, a middle, and an end. And for something that never seems to end, it's just like a soap. However, it's very detailed built from what I could see of it, of the locations, at least the town-wise, that are actually in the TV show. These are pictures, obviously, from Thursday's blog with the... I am actually down there on the left. I think that's about as far as I got before I crashed. But various people taking motorbikes, cars, they were giving you this stuff away, basically. And that was an aerial view. So as you can see, the town, if you can imagine, if I was doing Sons of Anarchy as a machinima program or something, that would be the set. In other words, it's designed... from what I can tell, anyway, it's designed that different bits, the old squared off bits there, are particular locations you would see on the TV show. Whether it's an accurate map of a whole set build, I don't know. But, they'll be filming one bit one end and one bit the other end. And sort of, while I wasn't there, I gather everybody was taken on a pretty good tour. Right, what we got there, those are two of the hosts, I do believe. And a camera lady, that remarkable avatar, has acquired a bike. Looks like the Ghost Rider, doesn't she? There's a Marvel comic called the Ghost Rider.
Yeah, that's right.
We would need the fire for that, though. Just get this almost fire trail. Anyway, that's good. Okay, another aerial shot. The aerial shots are rather nice. They give you an idea of the scale of the thing, and without being too sort of complex. And I like the rock surrounds. I think the TV program is set in somewhere like the Arizona desert or something. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, it's Yosemite
Park in California.
Oh, in California.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so it's not like an East Coast thing that is really cramped, jamming as much into space as possible. It's got that wide open West Coast spaces feeling, and a few trees as well. But enough about them. Right, another quick aerial shot there, really. These figures are all very small. Can't really say. There's our Ghost Rider again. That could be James, or it couldn't be. I don't know. It's a bit small to see. Moving along, teleporters to get you around the region. As I say, I missed all this, and I've sort of had an idea of going back to film later, but I didn't. That's quite a nice shot. Again, none of these shots can really see who's in them, and that horse seems to have had a resin problem, doesn't it? Or is it? Maybe it's just a frisky and trying to knock the person off his back. It looks a bit odd. Let's put it that way. Jessica's doing far better with hers, obviously. Right, and well, somebody's definitely in control of her horse there. Very quiet, gentle animal in a nice, peaceful surround. Probably loads of other people there, but we can't see them. Yeah, here with that now. I know just about told that that's Thurza. I recognise the costume and the pigtails there. Don't know who the rest are, but taking a little ride. I missed that. I quite like getting on boats and driving them around. They're about the only thing I can drive in virtual worlds without crashing. Put me in a plane or a car or anything like that, and kaboom. Yeah, that's why I don't play games. I'll be out in the first frame. Right. That's a nice sort of scenic bit there. Probably scenes from the edge of town or something like that. Again, this is our two hosts, I believe, having a snog while we're filming. I don't know. It looks rather intimate, doesn't it? I don't know. And so they're sitting on thin air by the look of it.
They were on a bear.
On the bear. Right.
I think she's trying to sit on a bear. Did you manage to sit on a bear? You're a sitter, James. You sit on anything, don't you?
I was too afraid to sit on the bear. I'm not going to go there.
And the horse is sinking into the ground. Anyway.
Yeah.
The poor old horse is sinking into the ground as well. Yes, bears are. I saw a wonderful clip though in the week. A polar bear cub had been injured, and these guys on the boat they rescued it, and the big mummy bear or whatever was there alongside them, just sort of nodding and helping. She obviously wasn't hungry for the fishermen. Right. I wouldn't have liked
But the bear looks rather cuddly.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they feel like they feel like they should be like gorillas, vegetarian things you can cuddle, but they're not. They tend to have a nibble on you when they need to. Anyway, another picture posing, and spotlights in the background now. Don't know what they were for. It's interesting. She's chosen to take most of the pictures. Well, I wasn't on the tour, so I don't know where we were taken, but a lot of these pictures, of course, are in the more around the outskirts than in the main part of the build. Camper van there. That's one of our hosts.
All the camping things were really quite good. The campers, the tents, the cabins. It was really elaborate, really quite nice.
Yeah, it was well built.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, Linestra, were you there on the first part of Safari as well?
I was, yes.
Right, so you yeah. So both me and Tosha missed it, but you and James at least
had a blast.
At least you can commend it. So yeah, and final long shot again. Oh, a sailing boat there too. Yeah, actually, when you see when we saw the aerial views, it looked like everything was really stuck between the rocks and waterfalls. But when you see close up bits near the perimeter,
when you're inside, it's very
immersive. A lot more.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, well, I will endeavour to return there and maybe do a bit of filming at some point, assuming the physics behave themselves, should we say. Okay, now, also this morning, this wasn't a Safari visit, but this is on Safari's blog. Thurston normally does a Sunday post about this time before we go on air, so it's quite good. She had a beautiful Buddhist bell was tolling in a wide and serene plaza on Franco Foley grid. A new build was inaugurated yesterday on Saturday. So I'll leave you to read this at Thursday's blog, but we'll just have a look at the pictures she took, 13 of them. A reminder, of course, that the blog address here is hgsafari, all one word, .blogspot.com. And, two posts a week are looking back on Safari, and then there's usually a couple of other posts a week that says it does another destination or something. So quite complements what we do here as well, actually. So what have we got there? Come on, picture, move. Right. Oh, so it was on number 2 to start with. Okay. That's quite elegant looking. Again, all I can do is say, aren't these wonderful? Nice light. That's an interesting lighting on that shot, actually. There's sort of the hue that's crossing all the people, but then it's in great contrast to whatever that sky is.
It reminds me of what we have set up here, Mel.
For
this wintry scene.
Yeah, exactly. We've got that sort of bluey, huey tinge.
Yep.
But it's just why. But also the sky behind looks like it's almost a desert sky. So that the contrast between the foreground and background is quite interesting. But I don't know very little more than that, so to speak. Oh dear, these pictures are a bit weird. Okay, can't tell what's what here. There's another. Oh, that's a close up of the thing I saw in the background. That's I don't know what that statue is, but it's got I wonder if it's actually significantly French. I mean, statues are statues, but it does have that. She's got it's a lute or a harp sort of thing,
or a lyre, right? A lyre, right.
Yep. A lyre, yes. A lyre with a little. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know. The clothing looks a bit French as well of a period, although I don't know. It's almost pre-Raphaelite as well. So who knows? Nice statue. I'll just say that for now. I can't say anything else really. Long shot. So I'd like to have known about this if it was opening yesterday. I could probably have popped in, but nevertheless. Here we go again. Miss Wings, as bright as... This is another one. Look, the sky has this wonderful electric quality coming through the trees, and yet this bit where everybody's standing around is almost in darkness or in shade. Big contrast. Right. Somebody who's passed by the look of it.
It really looks very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The sky, the light.
Yeah. I think it must be a not a wind light, the other one. An eep.
I don't know if it's an eep. But in wind light, skies and sun are different. And so you can have a light sky and a dark sun if you want.
That's true. Can you mix eeps with wind light? Like an eep light? A wind eep?
Yeah, I think so. It's I feel like eep is an enhancement to wind light to, add more graphics and things where clouds are and things like that.
Yeah. I should know by now. I've talked about it enough, but it's
you've eeped a lot.
Yeah, I've eeped a lot. I've beeped about eep. No, that doesn't work. I mean, this is the silly season, remember? So January will be over eventually. But looks like the host there. He was in another picture. Oh, and there's whoever it was with the wings. Avatar portraits. Oh, a nice long shot there. That actually looks more subdued, sky-wise. Nice, moody, but same-ish rather than contrasting. Okay, so that was that lot. Okay, so I mentioned the ones coming up this week and the diary one too, didn't I? Yeah. Okay, so moving on by getting into the meat of things. The second visit on Safari was going to the goddess. Yes, and this is alternate metaverse grid, and this is Linestra Barker. Guess who? And Mad.
Yay!
I actually get your full names here because I can read them, right? Right, who were it was Madril couldn't be there. Madril, well, you apparently do DJing of regular music events on Linestra's own region. although you weren't on Safari. Did you want to tell us about that a bit?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
I do regular sets every Thursday from 4 to 6 and every Sunday from 5 to 7. The
Right.
5 to 7 on Sundays is usually thematic music.
Right.
Be rock and roll with a specific theme.
Right.
Okay. And I also include what's called something completely different. So I have a few songs peppered in that are just very strange, unusual, or funny.
Right.
A great set.
Nice. Okay, I've just been prompted by this first picture. On that display there is, I think it's the latest issue of Blah Blah Blah, and
Yes, it is.
clearly an article. It's hard to get this one. I know it wouldn't load as a PDF online for me, and I couldn't find it in World. I think I was probably looking in the wrong place. But I noticed you have got that an article about Airmid in there too. So if do you have a vendor on AMV? Is that where you normally pick up Blah Blah Blah?
I get blah 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 from the Alternate Metaverse website, and they
Oh,
have
yeah.
kiosks at the welcome area.
At the welcome area, yeah.
Yeah, sure. So it's a nice little magazine. I mean, oh, I know. I did actually get to read it on the web, but I couldn't, for some reason, it wouldn't transpose onto my Opera browser here, which I use for broadcasting. So I wasn't able to show it to you guys. I was only able to announce it had been published. But yes, so those are basically the pages of the magazine there.
Yeah,
And
we were
also,
honored. We were honored with Sophie doing an article on Aramid.
yeah.
I was very happy about that.
Yeah, oh, it's a nice article as well. So I mean, you've got a lot of stuff there. I mean, the early issues of Blah 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 were, shall we say, a bit sparse on the content, but they've got a lot more there now. And in fact, on the website, when you get to latest PDF, there's a little pull down box there, so you can actually reload all the previous issues depending on which one you want to watch, read.
Yes.
Which is sort of I mean, there's a lot of good uses for things like Blah 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 in World, but I've always kind of relied on magazines like Issue and things to show the PDFs as flipboards on the web. I'm just actually looking. I know we got one on our table here, but I think that isn't. No, that was a new one that came out.
Different magazine.
It's Blot. I don't, it's been there for months, actually. I don't think there's a more recent one than that. Anyway, okay, moving along with the slides, however. So, yeah, Blah Blah Blah. We have Jessica Skeleton there as ever, and yes, I remember in the chat there was this there's a problem with some guy called James who was white and remained white.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the man in white as opposed to the man in black.
I know nothing.
Nothing is appropriate, isn't it?
Right.
Not even naked, because maybe you're naked and be painted. But I mean, given your fondness for sitting on things, I said that you'd probably just fall in. You're probably sitting on a bucket and fell into a bowl of bleach or something. But
it's these assets. It's these crazy assets.
It's these assets, yes.
Yeah, I'm looking for another grid, and I actually am trying AMV for my account to Safari from, because Kitely has not been really good at delivering assets when I need them. So who knows?
Good point. Yeah. It's fine at the moment, but or in doubt, I actually normally go to, because we used to have the HIE there on the craft grid, so that avatar. But the Avacon avatar, the conference avatar is okay, but you can't use it for
Yeah, and I like to keep the OS grid account for this show, so I don't really want to Safari this avatar into some strange condition.
Yeah, got you. And I like it here because it's I've always had quite a big inventory on this grid, even when it was down for years and whatever. So I've lost a load of stuff now and recently because they rebooted everything. But I always think I like to have one avatar where everything is stored. So I don't, and the odd thing about OS Grid, as I'm sure many of you know, is that it doesn't support Suitcase, which is a bit odd for a developer's grid, I've always thought. So basically, whenever I travel on Hypergrid, I'm taking my whole inventory with me, and sometimes not with me, as the case may be. But with craft breed avatar and stuff like that, I would normally put what I want to travel with in my suitcase, and that way my inventory just stays at home. But yeah, winners and losers on that front, really. But I get confused if I used to have so many avatars here, there, and everywhere. Including, well, that would come up in the chat a little bit later, including Great Canadian Grid, which of course Linestra and Mike, well, you were there, weren't you, way back when?
I was indeed. I had a club there.
Yeah, and you were making comments about never being able to stop Roddy talking.
Yes.
I think I got him on this show once, but he always seemed to be too busy. He was eager to come on, but he was always too busy. And since he's got a cabin on one of the worlds right now, but I haven't been able to locate him. So it'd be nice to catch up with him on the show or somewhere. But yes, we go back, don't we? Great Canadian Grid was actually Roddy at Great Canadian Grid, but he watched this show, I think, and he got in touch with me saying, well, I'll give you a region, to be your, base for Meta World Broadcasting and stuff. And then, of course, as soon as I settled in, I wanted another region, and I think I ended up with about 8 or 9. I built a whole sort of intricate story there and stuff, but nobody came, so it's I lost interest in the end. But it was a great experience. But so many thanks to Roddy there, really. Without him, the path would have been somewhat different, shall we say. Don't know what.
Yes, absolutely.
And well, some appropriately psychedelic mushrooms, I guess.
That's the fairy area.
Yes.
A very magical circle there.
Yeah. And nice. I love the mushrooms and foliage and stuff. Well, we'll see it on the film. Remember, I'm just I haven't got to the film yet. Nice animation of you here. Again, same area more or less. Oh yes, no statue. Do feel free to comment as I move slides. And a swan in here. I love the colors of these plants. I see them all over the place now, but they just, they do the magic thing, and of course, magic and myth is a lot.
Very fantasy. Yeah, there are a lot of fantasy colors.
Aside from everything else, Linestra, you just look gorgeous on these pictures, really.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey. Let's go have a, there you are, a close up. Yeah, nice costume too. I'm just flipping back actually to the bit that the chat log from Thursday's version, in fact. Okay, you asked about Air Med itself, or Air Mid, and you said that in Irish mythology, the goddess Air Mid was one of the, oh boy, get me pronouncing it, two other Danan, and with her father Dian Ketcht and her brother Miak, she healed those injured in the second battle of Mag. Thank you very much. I can't read it. Anyway, you created Air Mid to give people a place to relax and possibly heal. I hope so after all that battle.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you say hidden on. So yeah, the next bit here, I'll just say, you said that hidden on the land are herbs of various kinds to help heal visitors as they explore.
Yes.
It's identifiable. It's like a hunt or something to find the different herbs, or is it just you've put different herbs down in places to?
There's like sage and lavender and other herbs all around the land.
Yeah.
I'm considering putting some on the beach too, but I haven't done that yet. And if you can find them, they're there. They're just scattered about, hidden away.
Yeah. So it's just like potluck. You recognize them and think, oh, lavender, no, whatever. It's not
Exactly.
It's not an actual quest. It's just decor. Oh, nice touch though. Yeah. So the lavender fields and whatever. Unicorn live here, and the season never changes. It's always spring, but there are wolves and the bear, as well as other animals. Rest assured, the unicorn makes sure nobody will be harmed by any of the creatures here. And actually, I made, somewhere else you made a remark about the fact it's actually always warm here because there's a volcano on the edge of the region.
Yes, yes. The beach is always warm. It never changes season. The beach is always summer.
Yeah. Good touch. Right, let's move the pictures along a bit first. There we are, another long shot. The pond. Is that the area called the pond?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. On the thing, we went there at the end. You say, welcome to the pond. It's a peaceful place where couples can dance or lay on a blanket and relax. Yeah, nice and polite, that. An afternoon away. In the pond are floating poses, so you may float and relax. There is an adult area I noticed mentioned somewhere, so whether it's that, I don't know. In healing water and chat all day. And James Atlloud asks, does AMV grid work nicely for hypergridding? And you say in most areas, but some grids shut off other grids. That must have been part of a longer conversation. Let me scroll back up to the topic.
Yeah,
No, I think that was it.
There are other grids. There are other grids in OpenSim that do close off and not allow certain grids to visit.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
But
some
alternate metaverse is not one of those.
Yeah.
Yay.
There aren't actually many that do that. I mean, you can understand some of the educational ones, which are underage kids in them, so they're locked down. You know, they really use the engine like Second Life, Walled Garden. But the vast majority of people, I mean, some of the early grids actually wanted to be walled off like Second Life sort of thing. But, with the presence of Hypergrid and shopping everywhere, I think they gradually realized that they were onto a bit of a loser, especially if people can't Hypergrid in easily to take film and do interviews and things like that. They're missing out, aren't they?
And personally, I love exploring.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I'm quite, even if it's an empty region, just pull out a horse and trot along.
Exactly,
Well,
exactly.
There we have the famous volcano we mentioned in the background there, and somebody standing in front of it. There's a two. In Australia, and the man in white who is appropriately found. He has managed to find a seat, so we do know he managed to sit on.
At least my Crocs showed up. That was
your what?
My Crocs.
Okay. I thought you said something else for a minute. Right. Okay. Moving on. On the rocks. Okay. There's the DJ sign. So this is one of your gigs, I guess, Maldro.
Yeah, this is my club. We have a personal bartender to give you drinks. There are also what is called the Lord's Lettuce at the bar for those who want to partake of that. And there are two huts behind the DJ booth. One has a greedy table and the other is a nice bar and relaxing area. Again, so people can sit and chat.
Right.
The greedy table caught my eye. Greedy tables always catch my eye for some reason.
No comment. Oh, well, if I fall off this pier, this is something.
Is there any special reason why it is called On the Rocks?
It's called On the Rocks because it's a classic rock club. And around the club are big boulders, giant rocks, that have graffiti written on them on different genre of rock music.
Okay, cool.
And then you got On the Rocks as in the drink alcohol with ice in it on the rocks.
Right.
Okay. Well, I certainly have to go there. One evening that I won't spend on my couch, I will turn up there.
Good.
Log in before you go to sleep. That's the idea. Trouble is, you do that, then you turn the music on, the music puts you to sleep, so you don't win in the end anyway. It's funny, actually. There was a totally incidental. I was reading a blog this morning on some young, I think they're for girls actually, a rock band or something. But they said the wonderful thing about metal, is it includes all genres. And I thought, what? Since when? I mean, it's probably, I think of it as about the most objectionable genre, but a genre at least in itself. I've never thought of metal as being a collection of genres, you know. Blues, country music, they can't be metal, can they? I don't know. Anyway, it puzzled me. People will put labels on things sometimes. Oh, now if I remember, was it Pet Love who acquired that?
Yeah, Pet Love did that first, as I recall, and then someone else was coming by with the hang glider.
Yeah,
It's a great hang glider. It's really fun.
it is. Ah, I should have picked one up if I've been concentrating on anything other than filming.
Yes, we have hang gliding, surfing. There's a slip and slide to play on. All kinds of stuff around there, even a Congo dance.
Oh. It's one when I turn up to safaris, I often live. It's the price of filming, you know. I try and get in there early and pan around and wait for everything to res, then film everything I need, and then actually rejoin the real safari by the halfway through. But sometimes you
got to take a break and go play.
Yeah, exactly. And then final, there you are, another nice shot of you. Of all the little hearts flying around in the air behind you. She didn't make a gif out of that one, but never mind. Still a lovely pose, so to speak. Right. Okay, so that was safari on that one. Okay, so moving into the meat of things, I've still got my notes here from the chat logs, but I'm going to, I took 2 pieces of film, and the second piece is quite short, and I think I'd missed a volcano or something, so I went into it to do it, but I'm actually going to show that one first, because it's only about 3 or 4 minutes, but here we are. And is it running? Can't tell. Oh yes, something's moving. Yeah. So aerial shot just panning into one of the gazebo type things. Just feel free to comment here, because I'm just random.
That's the ritual circle. We do rituals 8 times a year there. Normally they're private, but sometimes we invite guests.
Oh, right. Actually, I got them the wrong way. Right, sorry, this is the volcano clip. Yeah, you got the volcano. You got that massive wave in the middle there, and all these sort of islands around the edge. Now, I mean, this is so very much a perimeter, isn't it? Like half of the 2x2 is sort of sand and rocks and these little islands and things, isn't it? Whereas
Yes.
the more vegetative bit, shall we say, and the fairy stuff, that's the other 2 quadrants.
And nice places for adults to hang out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nice architecture here. Like, I like the way the ramp goes up there and around the tree. You know, I've always liked picking up tree houses and things, but that looks like mesh. Very nice. Well, I don't know whether it is or not. And that another one. These little just ornamental things. You could have quite a party there, I think.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, and on the boat for that matter. Don't think I went into the boat. I think I just looked through the windows there.
That's quite a boat.
Yeah. And this bit's nice too. Multiple levels of walking around on that. I remember near the end of our tour, long after I'd actually filmed this bit, I think the safari group arrived here, and everybody started wandering off up into these little very, it's almost Caribbean feel, I suppose. I don't know. But just nice, very natural looking, you know. I mean, the great thing about tree houses and wood and stuff like that, you know, it feels like it's part of the environment, much less than built on the environment, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, and Maldrill's house is also a tree house. On the parcel I gave him, he has his own tree house. It's quite cute.
I have a feeling we'll probably get to that on the next clip. Oh, no.
I mean, where else would an elf live, right?
Yeah.
A tree house, absolutely.
Right. Well, the first in Second Life back in the day, the first property I ever rented was oh no, well, I was given one earlier on, a little house on an educational grid, but then I met somebody on a medieval grid who took me into renting a parcel with a tree house on it, and I thought, oh, that's great, this tree house. But it was a role play sim, and I had great fun because basically I pretended I was a wizard from the future. So my treehouse was full of some media screens and all sorts of technological gadgetry, but I wasn't allowed to put it anywhere outside the treehouse. It all had to be in the house. So when I went down to the ground and wandered around, I pretended to be a wizard, and with all my wizard tools, even though the idea was they were actually tools from the future. But that was my personal backstory. The backstory for the residents was I was a wizard. I can talk my way out of anything, I think. These are nice. I can. Are they NPCs or animation? I remember zooming in on them and trying to figure it out. They looked very realistic, these two. Oh, actually, and that's the end of that clip. So let's go to back to the main one. There's a repeat bit at the beginning here where we zoom in and you were telling us about.
I thought we were just going to see the Volkswagen Transporter van, but oh well.
Okay, go past.
That old hippie car.
That's right.
What was that? Oh. Well, maybe it's on this film. It's got 12 and a half minutes.
It was on the beach, if I recall
correctly. Oh, yeah. Now, I think this film, well, I do get to the beach on this, but in long shots, going off the side. Is that an actual something you pick? Oh, no, it's just a sign, wasn't it? I think. Which? You'll have to point out the herbs to me as we come to them. I know what the lavender looks like, or at least I think I do. I know what it looks like.
A bush of chamomilla. I don't know what it's called in English.
Chamomile. Yeah, chamomile.
Chamomile, yes.
Popular tea, chamomile tea. And a barbecue, smoking away. Did I manage? Oh, yes, I did snoop inside some of the buildings.
Yeah, that's my house.
I was going to say a very calm and mellow-like living environment there. And the witch's home. Well, you got your broomstick. Gosh.
I have to, of course.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. Well, the contrast, the high-tech desk and the broomstick. And there's me, so it's not me. If this is Second Life, that's my avatar. Well, it looks very much like it, should I say. Nobody ever sees me, but they frequently tread on me. Oh, there's colour in here. Hope you brought wine.
The turrets are a really nice touch. I love houses with turrets. That's a great space.
I do too.
Yeah.
I got that house on Kitely. I just had to have it when I saw it.
Okay, right.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, and then normally only see them in rural settings too, don't you? They're sort of not kind of defined period architecture. They're just nice ways of building. Oh, wappis. They're not the moving ones, but there you go. Oh, I saw I did somewhere else. I like this one. The animals are hidden in the. I forget whether you put the animal in there or whether it comes with the animal in it.
It came that way.
Yeah, you miss it if you don't. Hang on, did I see movement in there?
What was it?
A weasel?
Was it a weasel?
It was a ferret
or a show. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't perfectly raised, actually. It was sort
of. There are quite a few hidden areas in Unicorn Forest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always fun filming this sort of stuff because you get your camera stuck in the foliage, and sometimes you find an area you couldn't possibly see from the air. Other times you miss things completely, but it's sort of it's nice when it takes you by surprise. Yeah. Yeah, again, lots of colourful flowers and a nice little seat there. There's orbs in that tree, rather fetching, actually. They well, you know, they've been put there rather than grown there, haven't they? So, nice effect. Oh, is that the animated one? I love that there is one where it's an animated adult unicorn and the baby.
Yes, I have that one out there too.
Right, yeah, that's a cute one. I've seen it around a bit.
Some
but it
some of
never
the animals are animated, some of them are still.
Yeah. And there, of course, are the safari folk. Bearing in mind I did film this, was it? That's a lovely display on camera, anyway, from a distance, seeing that whole, you know, area and those. Well, and
I
seeing-
enjoyed building that area.
yeah. This is the ferry area, yeah. Am I right?
Yes, yes, it is.
Where on the tour, this is where you started. Remembering the order I discovered stuff in was totally unrelated to safari. That's a nifty thing. Is that a scaled down version? Is a scaled up version of that is real size, or is it just like an ornamental?
I found it that way, as listed as a fairy house.
Yeah. All right.
So I had to add it.
Have you got any of those little
Into
flying
the tree.
Sorry.
Well, it shows that that area, Linestra, is really made with a lot of care and a lot of, you know.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time building it.
Yeah, with a touch of love, so and joy.
I love
can see
nature.
that.
I'm a nature nut.
Yeah.
Somewhere I had a long time ago, actually, it was like you know, like you get those fountains and the birds, animated birds that come and land on it and stuff like that. But I had something that it emitted fairies. So it kept on emitting fairies, like the way spoofers or whatever they're called do, which is quite fun. You know, they disappeared after a while, but they just kept appearing. You know, like birds or something. Just a nice touch. I don't know whether you've seen those ones. That's a strange looking statue. It looks like, well, never mind. It looked like she had a brain on top of her or something. Lost her again now. Oh, yeah, another one of the fairies.
The fairies do like watching the people.
Oh, the roots on that one are rather.
Linestra, do you have a
Colourful.
favorite place you like to shop for plants and foliage?
I just do a search on the Open Simworld page and
Okay.
hop around.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'm
That's
skipping.
another adult area.
Oh, the
Is it-
pillows.
this is-
Okay.
Place you can take your honey and have some fun.
I'm just going to pause it there a second. So, oh god. After you talk about the herbs, you talk about the fairy area, which of course was at the beginning of safari, and let us walk to the fairies. He said most people think of fairies as mischievous creatures. However, the fairies on Unicorn Forest are helpful and love to greet people. The Queen of the Fairies has decreed that all fairies should help heal, like the plants and unicorns do. And Tosha says, does this build reflect your culture? Are you Irish or just a fan? And then you say, I am both Irish and Scottish with some American Indian. So I guess
That's right.
that's a nice mix, I must say. An awful lot of culture there. And then you actually do make a point of saying, laugh out loud, I am a fan of Celtic culture. And it's a beautiful blend of cultures, actually impressive. And oh, sorry, that was the Lavia butting in. Unicorn Forest is blessed with magical things like the scrying gazebo and a dance circle around a fire. Thursday says she loves the way you focus on healing properties. Serenity and peace are so important for our health. And you say that in both RL and virtual, you're a student for herbs and their uses for both healing and in the magical sense. James makes a comment about scrying being a game mechanic in Elder Scrolls. But that's a bit of a diversion, I
It's
think.
another world. That's right.
Yeah, you look into Linestra says you look into an object crystal ball mirror, usually a reflective item, to see what wonders the universe shows you. So I'll keep the film going here. I thought I'm taking a pause to get the background info in there. So carry on commenting. Then sounds like a movie, doesn't it? Carry on commenting. Ooh, what's that up there? Oh, it's just rocks on top of a rock, I think.
That's part of the Native American in me stacking rocks.
Right. Oh, of course. Yeah. Getting big piles to balance. It shouldn't be.
Bringing balance into your life.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it. Oh, yes, and there's a moving. Oh, the baby's moving anyway. Oh. Looks a bit ceramic close up, but never mind. And of course, all the other animals here.
Oh, it looks really very idyllic.
This is my favorite spot.
Oh, I think you mentioned that. Yes, I remember just the bit by the tree. That's a light too. I love these trees that make body forms. You know, like they look like
that is Maldrill's house right there.
Ah, right. Okay, so this is the tree house you were talking about, Mal. Drill. Very good. I don't know whether I managed to notice.
That's my home.
Yes. I did manage to sneak in there. I went through that window, if I remember rightly. Let's see. Did I find a way of sneaking in? There we are. The window opened, and in he went. I go anywhere, as they say. I don't think I ever found a door. I just found a window that took me in and panned around a bit.
Yep, but it is open to the public most of the time, unless I'm entertaining a guest.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah. That's good. Mind you, people like me with cameras.
There's a lot of things to play with inside there. You can get a meal on the table, sit by the fire, drink some coffee. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's some beautiful windows.
And
I like them.
Yeah, Linestra gave me all that. Treehouse, the land, everything you see there, she put up.
Right.
Just for me, for being the resident DJ on the rocks.
Oh, nice. And it blends in with all the rest of the area too. This confused me. What are these things? They felt a bit, I don't know.
Well, they're serpents.
That's there as a nod to Maldrill. Maldrill loves dragons, so I put that out just for him.
Yeah. As I said, getting towards the end of the film here, I actually I moved a bit in to the beach area there, but then I filmed that other short bit of the beach. Yeah, so from the air, actually, it's sort of. In fact, I think this bit of film I actually end by zooming up into the air. Interesting. So, yeah, I'd gone quite a long way by this time. I don't think I'd waited for everything to fully res, but never mind. Oh yeah, there's another nice little gazebo.
That's where you can scry.
Ah, this is the scrying. Right. Scry as opposed to cry. What happened there? Is that the edge? Oh, yes, I see where we are. Yeah. So there's about 90 seconds of this to go, I think. Yeah, the house down there again. A nice little, I made one of those ones. So it's a long and winding, not river, but a stream. Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it turns into a waterfall onto rocky shores.
Yeah. And you've got a raft there, which I don't think I got much further on this film, but activities there. So obviously you can do boating and all the rest of it on the two quadrants that have got so much water in it. And I presume your build, as it were, ends after those four areas.
Yes.
Now, whereas the sea doesn't go, you can't use the sea beyond. But yeah,
No, it's not open waters.
yeah. But it's like nicely compacted the way you've designed it there. And there, of course, my closing shop, I found these people called safaristas. Safaristas. What are you not doing there? I said to myself. Okay, let's see if I think. Oh, yeah, here we are. I think I managed to pull the camera out. Yeah, it had to be carefully positioned to get all 4 bits in, but yeah. But as we saw in the other film, I got back in there after. Oh, that's it. That's the end of that film. So I'm actually going to put this on replay in the background since it's nice to just have something running behind us. Is that right?
Well,
Yeah.
I had such a great time there. And one of the things I find, especially with foliage, is that things can feel very claustrophobic. And this was very open and airy, easy to move around, easy to look around. And I just think that's a wonderful aesthetic in building.
Well, thank you. I worked very hard to make it so you can move in it and not be having the plants in the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, having the large expanses of grass and then as a base, and then sort of putting the I guess little sets. They're not sets, of course. That's film, but I mean, these little areas, on that table of glass, and the way the shadows are, from the trees are changing the texture on the grass there as well. It's just, as James says, combines space with, but also fairly lavish feel as well. I'm going back. So going back to my notes, actually, let's see. Okay, we did the pond. He says. Many places in Unicorn Forest to explore alone or with a friend. You may also enjoy meditating in front of a soothing waterfall. You saw that. There is a rideable unicorn at the entrance, as well as a horse you can ride. And the unicorn seats 1 person, the horse can seat 2. Whether on foot or riding, Unicorn Forest is a place of exploration and relaxation. And of course, we're seeing plenty of unicorns on the film here. Okay, now the bit out on the edge across the water, so to speak, that's the bit you call Rocky Shores, the bit where the sort of club is,
Yes.
and then the various adult places you can hang out on rocks over there. On Rocky Shores, you have a conga dance, a slip and slide water slide, greedy for dinkies. Oh, special greedy for dinkies, is it? Well, never mind.
Yes.
You can find greedy for regular-sized abbeys in one of the huts behind the DJ booth. I didn't realise there was a special dinky greedy. There's a surfable wave. I saw the big surfable wave. Yeah, that's or hang gliding and spaces set aside for adult fun. The volcano is considered our guardian and keeps the air temperature at a nice 85 degrees Fahrenheit. That is nice. That's actually almost too hot. I'm a Fahrenheit person, so I know that. Right, let's walk to the club and check it out. That's your that's talking to people. Right, so asked how you met up with Maldru. We're so nosy, they say. I am nosy too, says Star. We want to know. That's how you get. So you did say that Maldru and you are real life friends, and Maldru served with your husband in the Air Force. So
Yes.
well, I guess I said it way back when. Yes. So you met independent of the virtual world through your husband, and then found a mutual interest in this. Yeah, DJing on Mel's part, and yeah. So
I used to DJ in Second Life,
right,
as well as being a professional surfer in Second Life. That's why the surfing ability on the beach, because I like that a lot.
Is it much different in Open Sim than Second Life? Because I mean, obviously you can get around. You don't have region crossings, for example, that can really mess up a small beach, can't they? Is it a significantly different experience doing it here to Second Life?
Second Life surfing is different animations, different waves, different boards. You can
Right.
do more tricks on the boards in Second Life than you can in Open Sim.
Ah, okay. So somebody has yet to build and program more exciting things. Okay.
I would love to bring Second Life surfing into Open Sim. I think that would be wonderful and people would love it.
This is interesting. As well as serving together in the Air Force, both Maldrew and Maldrew's wife and your husband and you all live together in Texas. Do you mean you've got a sort of ranch or something together, or you just live in close to the vicinity?
No, we live together in the same home.
Oh, lovely. Right. That's nice. Very good.
Saves on bills, you know.
Yeah.
That.
No, it's always good that people extended family is not the word, but sort of somewhere between a commune and a single ranch.
We're definitely an extended family. Maldrew's like my brother.
Yeah, that's great.
And his wife is definitely my sister in my heart.
Lovely. Yeah.
Do they also enjoy virtual worlds?
Yeah.
My husband does role play and forum role play. He doesn't do virtual.
Okay.
And Maldrew's wife does SL because their children are in SL.
Oh,
and
really?
she does not come to Open Sim.
Okay.
Now that's interesting. Are they when you said the children, are they of age or are they just piggybacking on the adults, so to speak?
They're fully grown and out on their own.
Okay, so they just happen to be in SL. There's a whole community of you in real life SL, and that's nice. Actual life never gets boring or too many stresses or anything with that setup. Oh, wonderful. Going back to here at On the Rocks, that's the club, of course. You stream AMV radio most days. Thursdays for you have Maldor the Elf, of course. Maldor Smith the Elf is our house DJ. Well, we covered that earlier, didn't we? And playing classic contemporary rock. He also has songs he throws into the mix, something you call completely different. Well, where have I heard that phrase before? Usually very funny and silly songs. Right, fair enough. Lavia says they're hilarious. Well, Lavia's obviously been in there listening to them. So he used to DJ in SL. James actually asked an interesting question to you, actually, put it out to field here. James actually says, is it a bit easier to find music in SL? OpenSim works, but seems lighter.
Yeah. Just the SL calendar seems to list more events than, for example, OpenSimWorld. And
for sure.
But I think each grid probably has its own calendar. I think that's true of AMV. So if I go to the AMV welcome area, then it's very easy to find different musical events.
Yeah, and I rarely get to half of them, but I mean, I subscribe to AMV's got, I think it's a Google Calendar, so I subscribe to it as integrated into my calendar.
All right.
You can also go to the Open Sim World page and look at the events calendar there.
Yeah.
That's actually a very good way to do it because the regions obviously show live by default. So,
but I do find that the Open Sim World calendar is largely OS grids, weekly recurring events, and so I don't know how we could encourage more other grids to publish there, but I know several do.
It'd be lovely if so like that other site. I'm forgetting where you look up objects and things.
Oh, Hypercat.
Yeah, Hypercat. It'd be nice if they did could do something like that to just look up performers and venues and.
Yeah, I think they're just about inventory, from what I can see.
Yeah, they are at the moment. But I also did find I very rarely use events listing in Second Life, there's actually too much going on, and you didn't know about who half of them were. I tended to rely on, Cylindrian and Dual Resistance and people like that. They had their own groups, so I would get a notification.
Performer notifications. Yep.
Yeah. And it does mean you tend to follow your favorite artist by joining that group. And you can get, I think, about 40 groups these days, but it used to be 15 or something absurd. But yeah, in a way, that's the best way to do it. But there again, if you've got 12 groups where you're following 12, performers or something, you possibly miss out on others, unless you. I think some of the best gigs where you turn up to see somebody, and you turn up a bit early or hang around a bit late, and you end up seeing somebody else before or after, so you get introduced to new artists that way. And
That's
so
true.
And then you end up joining another group, and then having to leave the groups where you've got too many, and whatever. But I think that's sort of been the case in OpenSim a bit. I know I went to something somewhere recently, one of the opening things, and it may have been somewhere here. There was
well, AMV had the birthday party. They had a lot of performers there.
I think, and Joel Fresno, or however you pronounce him, was playing one, and and of course, Tuna Rumble was one.
Right.
Yep. But it was, I remember latching on to a couple of before and after people I'd never seen before, and thought, oh, he's quite good, because especially in Second Life, it's like it's a whole land of troubadours, and they're like real troubadours, they're limited to busking on the underground, and people even avoid them, and others do it in the street and get huge crowds around them. So it's a nice way of life, unless you're one of the poor ones that isn't making it. All right. Actually, to that point, as I said, OpenSim clubs are usually huge. Even if you have a crowd, we all look like 4 little ants. And she makes a point that the proportions of your build here are good, in the sense, of having a crowd and be able to move into, if you've got a crowd here like you have Safari, it's easy to pan in and out and see everybody. When squashing those, putting all those people in a squashed area would be
yes.
task, as you say, just as I'm panning out and turning you all into ants, of course. So Star says the trick is to keep your club small so a few look like a crowd. And she said she loved the music that was playing. I didn't actually hear that. So
I would like to ask Maldrol, you are a DJ. There, do you only perform on your home grid, or do you also move around?
Oh, good point.
Oh, I perform on other grids. The calendar that Lynn puts out, it's at the bottom of the stairs, will show my sets on the rocks, as well as my sets that I do on other grids. So, and when you click the calendar itself, it'll give you that list, and even landmarks to go to those other grids to see my other performances.
Okay, and you can be booked if I if I, for example, had an event on one of my places, I could ask you to perform, would you?
That's correct. Yes, I do that. As long as I'm not scheduled someplace else, or have something else that's interfering. But yeah,
that's for sure. Yeah. And do you get normally when you perform in some place, do you get paid, or do you rely on I don't know, on whatever people
on
tips, donations?
Tips, yeah.
Well, currently the places that I DJ on other grids, they pay me, and I actually get paid on AMV when Cataplexia requests me to play at one of their seasonal events. So when I take my regular, like Thursday set to their seasonal event, she pays me to do that.
And if I may ask, how do you get paid? I mean, in by PayPal or goblets
I have
or
a
how?
PayPal tip jar
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
that I drop at the event.
yeah, it seems to be universal in OpenSim is the
Yeah.
PayPal webpage.
Yeah,
And
it's
no,
easy
no,
and
no commission by Linden Labs on the exchange.
Yeah.
No, no.
Yeah, we had Cataplexa on the show a few weeks ago, actually. So I think we looked at that, particularly her main event thing.
You know, it's a shame because performances in virtual worlds in so many ways to me are superior to real life performances. When I'm in the audience at an event, I can chat with the performer. The interaction is so much more than you would get at a live event where
yeah,
you're part of, you disappear into the crowd. But in
yeah,
OpenSim and Second Life, the performances can be really intimate and a great way to be with the musician and a DJ.
Yeah, I think that makes it very
and
unique.
no need to be pulled out of the crowd.
Or find parking.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
exactly.
you can imagine in real life, you have a WhatsApp group with the whole audience in, so they can natter away while at a real live concert.
Sure, right.
Anyway, they're too busy using their phones to film the concert. You make them wonder what they. It's a whole different thing. Actually, even real world concerts have become very much a sort of camera phone sort of events, and sometimes wonder why people actually go to these things. They're so busy filming, they're not really taking in the whole atmosphere. But yeah, you're right. I think the chat. I mean, I over the years, considering I used to write quite a bit. I mean, I'm at typos galore. I can, write at the speed of a snail these days. But it certainly was different because back in the day, Second Life before OpenSim probably, it didn't have voice. So it's a culture that was built on the ability to chat in text, to communicate with your fellow avatars. And we'll forget that. The first thing that happened was that somebody invented a Skype that you wore on your avatar's shoulder, and you could Skype to another avatar who had a Skype on their shoulder, and then eventually, of course, Vivos came along and Linden Labs incorporated that. But for a long while, there's you could always hear the music on the stream, but you couldn't talk or converse. You had to use chat, So, in fact, even Second Life now, I mean, I know people, who will still never talk. They always chat, and they can type at the speed of light, Even though I know they can talk and they've got really pleasant voices, they refuse to, So yeah, I mean, I guess that counts as something. Though personally, I sort of, if I'm at a music event, I keep half an eye on chat, but it means putting my glasses on and sticking my nose against the monitor to read it. I much prefer to relax and listen to the music if I can. But, swings and roundabouts, I guess. So the last bit on my notes here is we got the L. The surf shack on the beach is next. Anyone can use it to hang out and get a warm shower. Very nice. And the stone round pew house of the very rock face that separates rocky shores from unicorn forest. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I think I've actually covered all my notes as well. So
I think you have.
Yeah, I think I have. So, anything I haven't covered that you'd like the opportunity to talk about, especially you, Mal, because of course you didn't get a chance on the safari. Anything I've left out?
Oh, I think we covered it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I really wanted to mention if I was going to be on the safari was the fact that my little corner of Unicorn Forest is open to the public most of the time.
Right.
Okay. So you see that little sign that says Mystic Holt, you're now entering Mystic Holt.
Yeah.
Go in, check everything out. I mean, you've got the tree house to play with, and there's also another little building way back in the corner where I do alchemy experiments. Just
nice.
tread lightly because things might explode.
The other wonderful thing about virtual worlds, things explode and no harm comes to anybody.
An explosion in the middle of the forest sounds really healthy.
I hate flights, for example. And early in Second Life, flying around was fine, but a couple of I had a very nasty tool that for griefers. They would I would give them some innocuous object, but when they actually wore it, they would find it took them up into orbit. and then they only come down really, really slowly. And it's a psychological thing. They panic.
The first time I was on SL, I flew up as high as I could possibly go, and then fell back to the ground.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to fall and not get hurt, so I had to try it.
Yeah, because it worked. But
I did exactly the same. I did not fly up very high, but I climbed on every high mountain I could find, and then jumped over the side and fell down. And the first time I really thought, woof, my avatar's broken, because it landed sort of, all on the belly and moving a bit the legs and the arms, and I really thought, well, that was it.
All the default landings or have they have that little bounce animation, don't they?
And what I also loved in SL, I don't know if it exists anymore. This was so many years ago in my beginning time in SL. There was Paris with the Eiffel Tower, and if you climb up all the way, if you go all the way on the top of the Eiffel Tower, you will see that there is a huge fence around it, because on the top of the Eiffel Tower, people really in real life would use that to commit suicide.
Yeah.
So often that the authority put this big fence around it, so you can look through the fence. It's still unbelievable to look over all the roofs of Paris and all that, but you cannot jump anymore. And the Eiffel Tower in SL, they did not put this huge fence, but they put like a jumping board, and you could walk over it and then jump down from there. It was so cool. And you could even take what do you call these things?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly. That it was so funny. I just loved that. I remember that I spent weeks there.
God, I feel jittery even thinking about it.
Yeah.
But if I don't know. I mean, for newbies, especially in griefers, get caught out there, you momentarily psychologically forget that you can TP out of a fall, or So if it takes you 2 hours to get from orbit back down to the ground. But people panic and think, oh, yeah. And they keep, you can switch your machine off, you can log out, you can teleport away, but in the panic, people forget.
Yeah, but in the beginning, in SL, I for at least panicked all the time.
Yeah.
I remember I was in some beginners area, of course, like I think the most of us, and there were always some guys that all of a sudden opened their pants and zipped out the penis.
Oh yeah.
That big as a baseball club, and then making offers,
Yeah.
And I just panicked so much, I just turned down the PC altogether until I learned that it's nothing, nothing to worry about.
Nothing can actually touch you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they look so bloody silly anyway.
Yeah, they looked so stupid. And
the funny thing is, this is different actually, but watching TV and films these days, they make a lot of use of drones, especially lots of aerial shots showing a car driving through woods or something. It's just, since we've had cameras on drones, they make movies and TV shows using them. But they've got this really, I suppose, it's very dramatic for a thrill point of view, where they will take the drone camera and they'll run along a ground, and then they'll come to a cliff, and then the drone will tilt down like it's falling down the cliff into the ocean. God, my adrenaline goes berserk. I know it's only I know it's only a film I'm watching.
Yeah.
But, you know, special effects have always been one thing, but what they do with the drones, I mean, it just feels so real. I think, oh, you know, a heart attack of it all. But so we are safe. We are safe in virtual worlds and some of that for now, anyway. Unless we get even holograms wouldn't hurt us really. So, okay, well, this has been great. I think we're about time to wrap up. Tosha and James, please. James, I'll start with you. Anything other questions for the guys from you?
No, not any additional questions. I did. I liked the discussion we had about both tipping artists and then also about finding items for building. And OpenSim is just really wonderful. And I love the things, Linestra and Madrul, that you've collected and put together there. It's a really wonderful spot.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
There is a region, I haven't been there for a long while and it's still there, but there was a very big region with like forests and gardens and things on it. It was literally, you know, all free things for, you know, building landscape. No buildings, nothing, just flowers, herbs, trees, all the things you need to make a natural landscape. I forget what it was. I haven't been there for a long while, but again, you can probably look it up now. It's good stuff. And yeah, PayPal, of course. Okay, Tosha, anything else before we?
I'm with James about the informations about the tipping and well, the being paid for performances, and also the tips that Linestra gave on where to find stuff. But most of all, I would just say congrats for your region. It's really marvelous. And I haven't been there yet, so I can only talk from what I've seen. And that is just, I really like it very much. And for sure, you will have me there pronto.
Good. I would love to have you there.
Okay.
Yeah, well worth visiting. Yeah. Okay, well, with that, I think we'll call it a wrap. Long day anyway. So I'd like to thank our guests once again. Matt, I haven't got it in front of me anymore. Linestra Parker, full name, from AirMed, and I've forgotten your second name again, Mal. I've got it down. Maldrell Smith.
Maldrell Smith.
Maldrell Smith as well. Yeah. A DJ and resident of AirMed, should put it that way. Yeah. So thanks for that. Thanks also to my right-hand man who's fiddling with the knobs and sitting on anything you can possibly sit on, though you can't tell that because he's sat here too. James Atlloud. Thank you, James.
Yeah, thank you, Mal, for bringing us together.
And thank you
very much.
Thanks, Mal.
Yeah. And thank you
great time.
to wonderful co-host Tosha Tyran. Thanks, Tosh.
Thank you, Mel, and thank you for inviting these special guests tonight.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, my pleasure. Pleasure all around. Okay, so I wish everybody a very good morning, a very good afternoon, a very good evening, or indeed a good tomorrow, depending on wherever and whenever you are. And for now, it's a wrap.